Good morning, everyone. Here's my analysis of the big picture market review that I normally do for my Investors Business Daily Meetup group. So this is not a investment advisory service. This is purely just analysis and what I'm looking for in the markets right now. If we look at the S&P 500, we're currently back at a significant resistance area. It rebounded nicely from the top end of the cloud here, so we've had a nice little relief rally here, grinding all along the cloud, and we're now back above the back close to the resistance areas here, 2166 and 2100. So this area is significant resistance area. It comes from old high resistance zones. So it'll be critical to see if the market can break past this area, and then it could move higher to break past that area. But for now, it would appear that it needs to get past this 2166 area with significant volume and a nice breakout. Support is the top end of the cloud here, so if resistance holds, we can come all the way back down to the top end of the cloud here, and then if that support area does not hold, we could see back here 2040 back retesting these lows. But overall, the market is somewhat in a sideways moving pattern here, even on the cloud chart basis. If we look at the weekly cloud here, you can see we've had a tremendous nice rally over the last couple of years, and then the last 2 years really just been moving sideways, making quite volatile movements back and forth here. And overall, yeah, we've had a brief downtrend there as indicated by the cloud. We now still have a medium-term uptrend as the front end of the cloud indicates further upside. So we could see this as a double bottom base, and then if the market breaks out of this, we would go long that breakout as it moves higher. But for now, the clouds here are moving somewhat flat, so we are in a significant consolidation period, and if resistance holds here, we could come back around to the top end of the cloud here at 1972 and test that area for support. So there is significant downside risk here if the upside resistance holds. Okay, turning to the Dow. Yeah, we've a little bit stuck within the cloud, with the top end of the cloud is significant resistance. 18,174.75 is the upside resistance area. Short-term resistance is here at 17,896. So if the Dow can break past this resistance area, we should see it retesting that old high. Unfortunately, yeah, the front end of the cloud is flipped around, so we have the cloud span B line at the top and the cloud span A at the bottom. So it tells us there is somewhat of a downtrend emerging based on the front end of the cloud. So if the Dow fails to break out of this consolidation zone here, or this resistance area at the top end of the cloud, we might be moving lower, and the first area of support there would be 17,500. So I will be watching out for that if the Dow doesn't break past that resistance area this coming week. Okay, the weekly chart still positive here. We just go through it. Front end of the cloud still indicates somewhat of an uptrend on the weekly cloud chart basis. We're in a massive consolidation period, also similar to the S&P. We're making a massive double bottom base formation pattern here. Okay, resistance here is at 18,165 with support here. The first level of support here is the top end of the cloud here at that line there. Significant support is 17,100. So we kind of range bound here. If it does not break past 18,175, I'll be going short, and I'll be looking at getting out of that short in around this trading zone here on top of the cloud there. Okay, for those of you that's trading the FTSE, we can see I did a brief update about the FTSE and how to trade it around Brexit. It needs to get past this cloud chart resistance level here at 6,300. The next level to test will be at the top end of that resistance area, around about the 6,430.50 area. So there's a couple of percent upside potential here if it can break past the cloud chart resistance at the top end of the cloud. But currently it's within the cloud, so it needs to break out of that trading range. The downside here is the front end of the cloud already indicates a downtrend. So we have a medium-term downtrend in the FTSE based on the front end of the cloud. So if we get to the 6,300 and resistance holds, it breaks down from there, then we could see it come back to retest 37, and then it's going to go all the way back to test these old cloud chart support areas at 6050 and 5950, that zone. Okay. Now, if we look at the weekly chart, slightly different picture. We're already in a long-term downtrend based on the cloud chart analysis. The cloud is significant resistance, and make a mental note of the 6445 area. That's the top end of the cloud. That can be a major resistance zone in the current day chart, day trend. For example, the day chart's resistance zone. So keep that in mind. But from a weekly cloud chart perspective, we are on downtrend. So we're fighting this resistance area at the bottom end of the cloud, so it needs to break past that, and then it's going to retest the 6445 area. Okay, but overall, long-term downtrend, short-term trend up to the top end of the cloud here to check the resistance area. Okay, then in terms of the DAX, we're bouncing off from the top end of the cloud. So far, this area, it's 9779, has held up nicely. And we're now bouncing off the top end of the cloud here, so we could see a nice little rally up, back up to old resistance areas here, 10372. But from a weekly cloud chart perspective, we are now already also in a downtrend, as the front end of the cloud indicates further downside, with major resistance areas here at 10546, and then the next one is here at 10717. So those areas are significant resistance areas for the DAX, for example. But overall, the US market's in better shape than the European markets from a weekly cloud chart perspective. So I would be net long US assets at this point in time. All right, thank you all.